Kaynan Duarte is the latest ADCC champion at minus 99 kilos, so it wouldn't be a stretch to say that he is the best no-gi grappler at the weight class right now. Nicholas Meregali, on the other hand, placed third at the latest ADCC, which is very impressive because he's only been training no-gi for about a year or so. So who's number one decided to put on the match between the reigning champion versus someone who's been making very rapid progress in the no-gi world. As Meregali is walking towards Kaynan, Kaynan throws out a quick feint with his right hand up top and goes low for a blast double leg. Meregali tries to stuff Kaynan's head into a guillotine, but Kaynan is staying very disciplined with his head placement. Eventually, he is able to grab a single leg. In no-gi, Meregali did win the best throw of the match at ADCC with a very nice Uchimata, and you can see for a second that it looked like he was going to try to go for it again here. He has his left hand placed on Kaynan's right arm to stop the posting arm. He grabs for an overhook very briefly, and he's thinking about going for it. I'm sure Kaynan has seen Meregali's throws before and extremely prepared for them. Meregali probably feels this and then abandons the overhook very quickly. Kaynan stays patient, and when he feels like the moment is right, he runs the pipe and gets Meregali to the ground. For the next 40 seconds or so, we see some leg pummeling from Meregali while Kaynan is trying to put some pressure. And without any sort of warning, Kaynan jumps on an ankle lock. Meregali is very quick to get up, get his foot flat to the floor, and you can see immediately he tries to grab Kaynan's head. Kaynan is able to create a little bit of distance, and when Meregali is unable to put pressure on Kaynan and grab his head, he switches his focus on Meregali's left ankle. He has both grips on that ankle, and he's very focused on bringing that leg across his body to get in that leg drag position again. Once Meregali feels like he's in a great position, he lets go of the ankles and then starts grabbing the head again and starts bringing his weight forward. Kaynan recognizes the danger of this position, bails on the submission, and forces some distance between them by bringing his left knee out and using that leg to push Meregali away, and then we enter into Kaynan's butterfly guard. Kaynan attempts a butterfly sweep, but Meregali has really good timing on shifting his weight and using a hip switch type motion to counter the butterfly sweep.
Now, if I keep extending my leg and if I keep driving over my shoulder, I'll still get the hook sweep.
I'll take you this way, right? Okay, when you're ready, just turn your hips. Okay.
So you notice when she turns her hips, she kind of kills the hook. And from here, she can either backstep and transition to the cross side, or she can basically slide her leg over my knee and mount.
While Meregali is trying to put a lot of pressure on Kaynan, he does overcommit his body weight a little bit too much over Kaynan's body. That allows Kaynan to lift Meregali right above his own hips with his right leg. This forces Meregali to be off balance for just a second, and that gives Kaynan the chance to wrestle up to a single leg. Kaynan does try to use his left leg to hook Meregali's right leg, but Meregali is quick to bring his foot out, frame off of Kaynan, and avoid being taken down. Now for the next 8 minutes, it's a standing battle. And we're not going to watch the whole thing, but the key notes I will say about this standing battle: Meregali does a really good job of getting Kaynan in a collar tie a bunch of times throughout the 8 minutes. This causes Kaynan to tire out a lot more quickly than he normally would have. And this is basically an investment from Meregali, and we're going to see later that works out for him beautifully. Also, if you are unfamiliar with WNO, it's a 15-minute match. Every 5 minutes, the judges decide who won that round. So there are 3 continuous rounds, and you have to win 2 out of the 3 rounds, or obviously get the submission. So Kaynan, because of his takedown and aggression in the first 5 minutes, he won round 1. Meregali, because he is able to get collar ties and because he attacks a lot of single legs, he wins the second round. So it really does all come down to the last few minutes. Because of the collar ties and Meregali's increased aggression, Kaynan is getting tired towards the end of the match. and all it takes is one mistake to start gaining an advantage over the other person. So around the 3:30 mark, Meregali ties up with Kaynan, and he quickly brings both hands on the inside. Because Kaynan isn't reacting as quickly as he was in the beginning of the match, Meregali quickly uses that inside position to go under Kaynan's elevated arms and gets a body lock on him. He's able to quickly elevate his left elbow and shoulder so his head is able to clear to the back, and now he has Kaynan's back exposed. Kaynan is looking to roll to retain guard, but as he's going down, Meregali already has his right leg hooked, which doesn't allow Kaynan to scramble. Kaynan is doing a good job of keeping his back to the mat to avoid back exposure, and now Kaynan has two options from this position. He can either continue climbing his back onto the mat and force himself into bottom position or guard, or he could do the riskier move and try to look for a Hail Mary submission. Meregali did take Kaynan down. He is the aggressor in the last round, and Kaynan knows that if he plays it safe, he's definitely going to lose the decision. He only has one real option, and that is to go for the Hail Mary submission. He knows that Meregali is not going to be able to get his back from here, and Meregali does extend his left leg out, so Kaynan starts attacking that leg for a knee bar. Meregali uses Kaynan's attack to get up into the top position, and he immediately starts putting as much pressure on his left knee so he can bring it to the mat to avoid any sort of submissions. Like in the beginning of the match, Kaynan's job is to create some space so he can attack the leg, while Meregali's job is to get as close as possible. So Meregali starts grabbing Kaynan's head and starts bringing it towards him while he's trying to bring his knee to the floor as well. Once Meregali feels like his leg is no longer in danger, from grabbing Kaynan's head to grabbing a body lock position. You can see Kaynan is still trying to attack the leg, but from here, Meregali definitely has the advantage in the leverage game here. Kaynan knows that his leg attack has failed at this point, and now he has no choice but to release his grips. And as soon as that happens, Meregali pulls his left leg out of danger and also immediately uses his right arm to go for a crossface. Meregali solidifies his side control by getting head and arm control and starts putting pressure. You can see that Meregali's head is right next to Kaynan's. So Kaynan's right arm is on the outside, and it's not in the best position to be defending at this point. Meregali recognizes this and releases the crossface to go over Kaynan's head, and it looks like for a brief second that he's gonna go for a 180 armbar. But Kaynan does stick his left arm out to avoid Meregali from spinning to the other side, and Meregali gives up on it very quickly. I would have to imagine that Meregali was thinking that if he does go for the 180 armbar while Kaynan is defending, there's a high percentage chance that he's going to lose the position, and there is a chance that he might end up on bottom as well. So he abandons it very quickly, goes for the safer head and arm position again, and then starts working towards mount. So Kaynan is obviously very tired at this point, and he's not making the best decisions. You know this because as Meregali is transitioning into mount, you can see that Kaynan is trying to stop Meregali's left knee with the right arm that is currently being blocked with the underhook. He quickly tries to correct it by bringing his hand into an inside position, but as he goes to bring his arm up, Meregali is already in position to catch that right arm of his and starts isolating it. Meregali has the crossface on the right side, grabbing Kaynan's left shoulder, and then he uses his left arm to push Kaynan's right arm across his body. Meregali starts tucking his head, and Meregali is able to tap Kaynan with an arm triangle from the mount position. So from a gi player, this is a obviously very impressive performance from Meregali. He was able to take down and submit the latest ADCC champion, which is a absolutely huge accomplishment on his end. So in 2024, in the next ADCC, we're most likely going to see him compete again. And after this performance, I think a lot of people do believe that he could be an ADCC champion. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thank you again for watching my videos. I'll see you in the next one.